Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting of the 12th of November, 2025. I am joined here by fellow Node.js TSC member. Welcome, everybody. Yay. And I have promoted. Here we go. Okay. Here we are. Fantastic. First, let's start with announcements. Are there any announcements? I don't think so, or maybe there is some new release coming out.
Node.js 24 and 25 had a new release yesterday.
Ooh. Fantastic. Hooray. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Okay. Then. Okay. Remember to nominate people for the contributor spotlight. If there is somebody that you think is deserved for their contributions, please nominate them. Cool. Oh, one more person. Paolo. Okay. Has joined. Okay. First issue is issue 1800 Collaborator Summit 2020, Collaborator Summits 2026. We have done a survey. I can take this. We have done a survey. Thank you, Joey, also for helping here. Rafael, too, which is not here, but thank you, folks, for helping out in promoting and administering the survey. And we are discussing essentially what will be the node for our summit in 2026. The top score is essentially London and Vienna, and specifically London. Let me do a little bit of recap. We hear London, we can have more or less of an anchor at CityJS if we want to have a conference nearby, okay? Or the International JavaScript Conference or others in fall, okay? And also there is a very active JavaScript meetup. I was there a couple of months back, and it had massive attendance, like 60 people at the meetup plus. Okay, was almost a mini conf. Okay, the other top location is Vienna. Then we have Prague, which will be co-located with an open source summit. Okay, and then Dublin and Tokyo, but Tokyo is not. I said something not incorrect in TPAC, so I am going to cross that in the issue.
Or you should move TPAC to Dublin.
Yeah, they moved TPAC to Dublin. Ah, okay. So nope. Okay. Yeah, so 96. Well, I can just remove it. Okay, Tokyo has no anchor. Okay, it's also one of the least present, and also essentially United States doesn't look good so far. Okay.
For Tokyo, I think we still have TC39 and JSConf Japan.
Oh, okay.
That
so
can
not
be
just
collaborated with.
TPAC. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So TC39 will still happen.
Right. But one caveat is that the TC9 2026 will be Tokyo in the end of the September, not in November or October.
Okay.
Yeah.
End of September. And then there's JSConf JP, which is November.
I think the time is to be defined.
Yeah. Well, we are still discussing. So the first question that we face today. So, and there is also a question from the OpenJS Community Fund if we want to have um, one or two collaborator summits for next year for the funds that are available. This is, there might not be money as usual, but so far in the past few years, there's always been enough money to travel everybody. So
Do we have some sort of stats about, because for example, London and Dublin are on the list. Do we have some sort of like past numbers of like how much would it generally take for people to fly to those locations? Like,
uh, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I have no idea.
or we can ask who does the final reimbursement to
Yeah. I can see
if we have numbers and
for
see.
stats. I should the data should be available. So of
I guess for Vienna and Prague, I don't know whether we can use, for example, numbers for Paris. I feel like Paris must be much more expensive than the two.
sorry, what?
I mean, because like if we are trying to look at how much it would cost for the travel fund, I guess London and Dublin are like, we have numbers, or we might have numbers. But for continental Europe, I don't know if we have enough
No,
numbers.
we to be honest, is more of the number of people, I presume. So there is two categories of reimbursements. Okay. Essentially short haul flights, which are within the EU, and a long haul from America. Okay. The big chunk of the cost, it's long haul flights from America.
Right, I guess
That
how
is the biggest impact. Now, a lot of people traveling in EU can also have an impact, but this is a different, it's smaller in size. Okay.
yeah, I guess if we are tight on budget, maybe Tokyo would be a bit too expensive to reach because
I am in agreement. I am in agreement. So
the original idea is that, well, since there are actually a lot of Japanese collaborators, so they might, there will be a different offset of the cost in that you get people who don't usually get to come to Collaboration Summit to, you go to there, you go to them.
yes, but
But for a lot of people outside of Asia, uh, that will be a lot more expensive.
it's going to be super expensive. Like again, it's going to be super expensive, essentially, to do that travel, I presume. So I'm like again, I'm just looking at the demographics here in the TSC, and to guarantee enough presence of the TSC group, I think it will be incredibly expensive. This is, I don't know. So the first question of order here is, do we want to do one in spring? Okay. And if we want to do one in spring, can we get do we want to do London or London? It will probably be the 15 and 16 or something like that, 14, 15, 16, something like around those dates in April. And are we good with that? And then we can ask for people start asking for office space. I book in an email too, by the way.
I guess the question that I have is, are we going to have another one, or where would be the other one be? Because London can be a bit more flexible, whereas, well, I guess at least Dublin and Prague would be sort of tied to a, because there will be some co-locating conference, so there will sort of be the dates will be sort of
The dates are fixed. Those dates are fixed.
yeah,
Okay.
those will be like in fall. So
It's the date. I can tell the dates. It's not just fall. It's 7 to 8 of October, essentially.
and if we manage to say we manage to find a host for Vienna and we decide to do Vienna, then both are kind of flexible. But
Like the fundamental.
other ones will be sort of fixed.
The Vienna. So, okay. The question for Vienna is, do we want, so Vienna is now big JavaScript event minus half stack, okay? Which question, like, it's a fantastic event, to be honest. I love half stack, okay? But it's a small event, okay? Do we want to attach ourselves to that, or do we want to just look for space and just meet in Vienna without a conference? Okay.
I guess for locations in Europe, co-locating with the conference is not as important because people in Europe tend to be like Paris was, Paris was not attached to any conference, but it still had a pretty big.
There was a conference. There was Node.js. A lot of people didn't attend to it.
Oh, right. But I guess a lot of people just like, at least what I got told was like people could justify going to this event alone because I guess Europe is easier. So in Europe, it's like if there is a conference that people are already going, it would be a shame that we do not collocate. But that's not the key factor as far as I can tell.
Okay. So we have been to London. We can verify if there are a location for Vienna, and I don't know what are the other people in the room are saying.
I just want to mention that for the London host, I can confirm that Bloomberg is confirmed that we can host the event.
Okay. Okay. Other at some point we will need to vote or make a decision. Okay. So I am just other opinions.
I guess we just need to decide, do we get to do another one or
Yeah.
which, like where?
Okay, so the fundamental question is, so the second one, let me clarify. I am part of the team organizing, trying to get NodeConf resurrected, okay? We are looking at an hotel in Dublin, okay? Dates so far are not locked. It can be either that week, first week of October, similar of the same dates of Open Source Summit, or in November, first week of November, okay? So if we can, so far I have no idea if it's going to go ahead or not. Depends on sponsors, okay? But I hope to know sooner rather than later. So that is an option, but I have no idea it's if we want to do that or not. This is we don't need to decide that now, but we need to make a decision for fall, for spring, because it essentially is 4 months out. So we need to make a decision more or less sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I guess we could sort of settle for spring, and then we just we have 4 months, maybe 5 months to figure out what we're going to do for fall.
Yeah, I presume, like, I think that will be what we need to do now. Okay. Okay. So I am going to send out an email to the TSC and ask to express a preference between London and Vienna. In Vienna, do we have contact to host us, right? Or no? I thought we had somebody. I don't want to name them in the comp here.
I guess we can reach out and see if that's possible. If not, we can look into other locations.
Okay. Well, I'm sending an email to the TSC and ask if what is the preference, okay? And then is okay. Okay, perfect. This is to sent. So, okay. Next issue is update charter with communication responsibility and self-serve model for funding Node.js work. Both of those are stuck on the CPC discussions, so I am going to not and Vienna. Okay, it's defer to okay. And the third forward model, I have some update. Oh, I didn't say anything on the CPC and board updates. We had a long working session with the board last Friday, and to discuss exactly the funding models. Okay, and we have been asking this a lot in Node.js, and we are working on. We are doing our work. Okay, so slowly but surely, something is going to happen. I don't have the details, but on project funding. Okay. Next one is 1629, a draft statement of work test reliability lead. Okay. I have done nothing. So I'll keep it on the agenda, but I've done nothing. I'm sorry. Now, next issue is issues 1017 on the admin repo, enforcing NPM public access on Node.js packages opened by Shengzhang.
Yeah, I can talk about this. So the idea is that currently there are 3 levels of security settings, published settings for a package on NPM. And right now, I believe most of the Node.js packages do not require any two-factor authentication or granular access token. So it is still possible to publish with classic tokens right now. So the proposal is that can we enable the requirement to either publish with two-factor authentication or with an automation or granular access token. So that's basically disallowing classic NPM tokens for all Node.js packages.
If it requires two-factor, where is that going to, like, where is the message going to go? Because it's a shared account. Can they send it to a mailing list?
It's there's no
It's a TOTP
It's a
two-factor.
TOTP. So
Yeah, TOTP.
All right, you use an app. Well,
Yeah.
I guess someone, someone who's triggering the release will have to do something on their phone, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Either that or with a UB or just there's a few different ways. So personally, I would recommend we set everything to require 2FA or two-factor authentication or an automation or granular access token.
Yeah, I think the third level, which require two-factor authentication and disallowed token would make publishing impossible with granular tokens as well. I think that would be too aggressive for us at the moment. So I think the proposal is just to enable the second level of security. So yeah. And for each of these security levels, publishing through the trusted publishers will always be allowed. So I think many packages on the NPM organization are not being affected by these security settings anyway. It only impacts manual publishing.
I think from a security perspective, well, not security person, but if people can trigger it via an automation, then we probably need to audit who has the access to the repository to like merge a pull request. Because this is my very vague impression, but I have the impression that we have a lot of packages that haven't been published, or like if you look at the automation that they have, you realize they're always published manually. Um, so, and there are like automation, there are also packages that are like haven't been triggered for years. And the maintainer access might be given to a arbitrary team that's not really a very rigorously audited team. So theoretically, for example, if someone get hacked, because there are a lot of things with people who are not very active. If theoretically speaking, if someone get hacked, they could still publish a package, which kind of make the two-factor requirement not as effective if someone whose account without two-factor can trigger a release.
I think this is a separate issue that we can follow up with. So the issue that you mentioned is mostly about auditing the automated publishing of the packages. And the issue we are talking about here, the admin 1017, is more about enforcing the two-factor authentication when publishing with a classic token or granular token. So this security setup is adding security requirement on the manual publishing process rather than on the automated publishing process. So yeah, I agree with you that we can set up a separate topic on auditing the automated publishing process. But I think it's still worthwhile to enforcing the two-factor authentication on the manual publishing.
Yeah, sounds good. I guess we might need a list of like which packages are manually published, and we need to kind of notify whoever has been doing that manual publishing. For example, I was looking at PostJack the other day. I think it's manually published, but it haven't been released for 2 years. But it's like very popular and It's like 400,000 weekly downloads. So
I think the npm web UI will show that if a package is being published through the trusted publisher, because it will show the provenance on the package UI. And another way is that we can see if a token is the last use time of a token, so that we can tell if a token is still being used, and we can list these tokens or the packages of these tokens that's being associated with, and notify in the associated repository. Yeah, I think we can do that.
I'm thinking about less of like what users see, but it's more like for example, some maintainer has been publishing it manually, and then one day they realize, oh, they can't anymore because 2FA is enabled, so they probably will need a heads up that it's enabled now. And I guess not everyone who publish packages under the Node.js account, like for example, pay attention to this meeting.
So to address your concern, I think we can open an issue in each of the repository that enable these security settings as a handout. And I think the consensus that I am trying to gather on this particular issue is that should we make this an enforcement across the organization that the packages hosted under the name of Node.js should enable the two-factor authentication regardless on like a package basis. So it should be an organization level setting. We should enable this setting for every package that's published under the name of Node.js.
I feel that we might need to ask the maintainers to see if this will create troubles for some packages. Instead of, well, I guess like the TSC can also pull the trigger so that people don't get to, people suddenly one day they realize, oh, no longer works. But it would be nicer to ask people
I-
if this works.
I think we should just pull the trigger. Like, to be clear, I don't think enforcing this will cause anything. Let me explain why. Okay. Like if you are using a classic token, okay, I think it's a massive it's a massive security risk. Okay. So
It's going to be disabled in 5 days,
and
according
it's going to be disabled in 5
npm.
days. So to be honest, I don't think we have to do anything actually. So they're just going to get it. So, and I would recommend move to required 2FA every single time. And automation or granular access token, that's fine. So I think you should just pull the trigger. Ruben? Oh, Ruben wants to be promoted. Okay, sorry, Ruben. Didn't see you.
And about enforcing it at the organization level, I think it's not possible in npm to do that. All the settings are per package.
Yeah, it's true. It's a per package setting, so we have to enable it for every package.
So yeah, I would. My recommendation is we do it every single, like we require 2FA everywhere. I am not. I don't know if we have access. I need to find out who has the access to the Node Foundation account, but we should be.
It's the I have access. It's the build working group who
Okay.
has the credentials.
Okay. So if we have access, then I think we should be setting that.
But it's didn't we put the access details in 1Password now?
Yeah. Okay. So. Okay, I think we should just pull the trigger. I don't think there's anything worth in waiting. Now, I don't think we have quorum here, so I am going to I'm going to write it in the issue that in the last TSC meeting, we propose into the TSC meeting, we proposed. Is there any people objecting to just pulling the trigger?
Considering it's not like a organization level trigger, are we supposed to just go ahead and click buttons for them instead of like not saying anything?
To just configuring them all everywhere.
I can check on the token list that's been used recently for manual publishing and post a issue on this packages repository.
Okay. We need one. Okay, cool. I think that is all. Okay. I have added an issue. Okay. There are not that many, hopefully. So, okay. So, next issue is only allow secure two-factor authentication.
I think this is somewhat related to Joy's concern about the automated publishing on the GitHub Actions, because right now we only require two-factor authentication, but we do not enforce any secure two-factor authentications anyway on GitHub organization level. But that would means that any two-factor authentication method can be used to trigger a publish on GitHub once you have the run access to a repository. So I think this is somewhat related to the issue. So we can say enforcing the secure two-factor authentication if you have write access or admin access to a package publishing workflow.
No. This is, you can do that. Okay, it's org-wide setting in the Node.js organization in GitHub. That's the only place where we can enforce this. Okay, and there is this change. Okay.
Do you know what's the effect on people who have insecure 2FA if we enable it? If we enable the restriction.
Let me share my screen.
Because what I found is that more than half of the people in the org have at least one insecure 2FA. Usually it's SMS because, well, yes. I don't really know why, because myself, I had SMS enabled. I don't know why. But, yeah.
Okay, I am opening it up and looking it up with you. Okay, in your organizations. Who do not use 2FA will not be able to access your organization.
Yeah, what does that mean?
No, so this is enable, okay. Okay, okay. You can.
Should we test it on Node.js private maybe? And
alongside requiring 2FA, you can require organization member, okay, and a secure method of 2FA. Yes, you will be prevented to accessing organizational resources, so they will essentially be kicked out. Okay, viewing which one of the users. Okay, let me not do that publicly. So let me stop sharing the screen. Okay, in people. Insecure, okay. Six pages.
Yeah, and if you don't filter, we have 12 pages.
Sorry. Secure. Sorry, I'm lost. I'm lost how to read this information.
Is this a project, like per project setting?
It's a per organization.
Oh.
I don't think we can enable that, enforce that. So far, it's like I'm looking at the people that have an insecure configured, and it's this essentially everybody.
I mean, for example, I have a security, I have a physical key, but I do not use it with GitHub. So. Or I guess like you need to, if you really want to do this, at least like people need to get some incentive to actually use it.
It's very weird. Okay, sorry.
Key. Sorry.
It's very weird because I am I have. Let me check because let me do a check because it's password and not. Yeah, no, okay. I don't. I only have secure things. Like we have a lot of people with SMS configured, essentially. Okay. Sorry, you were saying, Joey?
Yeah, I was in like even if people have secure 2FA configured, they might not be like incentivized to actually use it with GitHub.
Yeah.
Unless you give them a bit of incentive.
Like we have even TSC members that have insecure methods of configured. Okay, so I don't think we can disable insecure methods in the. I'm going to respond that so far. Okay.
Is really the question? Can we do it, or when do we want to do it? Because we probably don't want to keep it this way. Like, of course, we can do it. It's just a question of how much trouble are we willing to make. But maybe it's not a conversation for today. We already spent quite some time on the topic. My advice would be, let's start with Node.js private and keep it on the agenda.
Okay. Let me check with Node.js private. How is it going there? And we have 46 people in that org, and quite a few people that have insecure. Quite a few people that have access that are not that are using insecure. Okay, this is a shorter list, okay, of people we can work on. So are we all in favor? And please, if you are on this call, there is at least a person in this call that has SMS configured. Please dot yourself of a few multiple 2FA methods.
Is it SMS, or does it include other?
It's SMS and email.
Sorry?
SMS and email.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that
okay.
That makes it safer. But people probably have other like I guess the question is, is it their only authentication method?
We don't know. You don't know. We don't know. Like if you are insecure, if you at least have one insecure method. So the question is, I will poke them individually, one after the other, and I take the action of poking them.
Also, it would be interesting to see what's the effect if they don't act on it, what's going to happen. So when we do it for the public org, we can know. We know what's the behavior.
Okay. Yeah, it's an experiment, I think.
Also,
okay.
It's separated from the physical 2FA. It's like not requiring a physical 2FA, just no SMS or email.
Yes, you can use passkeys.
But that's I guess that sounds less risky because that's not, physical 2FA is like something you need to buy. But the other
No, it's you can use passkeys or the GitHub app on the phone.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
the fundamental point is, my personal take here is, without a physical YubiKey or analog, I would not have turned that thing on my account.
You can also use Google Authenticator.
Yeah, I know, but it's tied to my phone, okay? I presume a disaster level scenario where I lost my phone, I lost access to that completely, okay? So that is my personal level of trust on those systems, okay? Anyway, okay, we have a plan. There is some private business that we want to tackle. So I would call the meeting to a close, okay? And I'll call an action to contact all people that do not have secure 2FA in Node.js private to make them to make them secure. Okay, perfect. I'm calling the meeting. Thank you for watching.